Hey everyone, today I just want to spend some time talking about a big update to FBref.com, which is a football/soccer statistics site put out by the folks that brought you Baseball Reference, Pro Football Reference, Basketball Reference, and Hockey Reference. Those sites, of course, are all incredibly successful in their own sports, and FBref is their latest venture into world football. And full disclosure here, I have been consulting with them on it. What does that mean? It means that they have been working with a slew of soccer stats and have come to me with to come up with ideas of how to organize them and present them on the page themselves. So a lot of like information architecture type of stuff. But I want to talk about this because today I'm just talking about it as a fan. I just don't even pretend that I had anything to do with it. I just love this site. I use it all the time. And I just wanted to walk through some of the features that were there to begin with and some of the new stuff that hit the site today that I'm super excited about. So the first thing you'll see on the homepage, you've got a module for players and for squads so you can search them. But what's really cool is you've got modules for every single league that the site supports. And you can pick a favorite one that goes into a little bit more detail. So I've picked the Bundesliga. I'm going to warn you right now, I'm a huge German Bundesliga fan. You got the table here, you got some leaders, you got scores and fixtures, upcoming matches, links to other German leagues as well. So now we've got men's leagues. We've got England, France, Italy, Spain, US, Argentina, Australia, and there's so many. Austria, I'm a huge Austrian Bundesliga nerd lately as well. I know that's totally hipster, but Belgium, Bolivia, even Bolivia, Brazil, Bulgaria, Chile. All right, as you can see, we're only in the C's, so there are so many leagues available on this site now, all the way down to Ukraine, Uruguay, and Venezuela. Where FBref really shines too is its coverage of the women's game. So we've got the English League, France, Germany, Italy, United States, Australia, Netherlands, Norway, and Sweden. Some really good stuff here as well as coverage for Women's World Cup. We got Women's Champions League, we've got Men's Champions League, Europa League, and all sorts of great stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a team page because I am a insane Borussia Dortmund fan. A lot of this is going to be based on BayVa, and I'm going to walk you through their current season page and show you the type of stuff we got available. So at the top, we've got a snapshot of some data. We've got the home record, away record, goals, goals against, then expected goals. So this is the expected goals model from StatsBomb that's been licensed to use on FBref. So it's just a really, really great XG model that we've sprinkled throughout the site. The current status in the Champions League, second in the group stage, current status in the German Cup, where we'll be facing Werder Bremen in the round of 16. So as you can see, it's not just Bundesliga, it's got all the competitions as well. So let's look at the player stats. We've got playing time, your basic performance data, goals, assists, cards, penalties, some per 90 stats. This is the expected goal stuff, and then this is the expected goals per 90 minutes. So what do we got for expected goals here? So the expected goals is how many goals they're expected to have based on all the shots that they took. Non-penalty XG just really takes the penalties out of that because they're a whole different beast. Expected assists is when they have made the pass to a player who took a shot. That's how many expected assists they have. And then this is all of that data per 90 minutes. And now on the player stats table, you can look at Bundesliga, but also Champions League, DFB Pokal, the DFL Super Cup, where they beat Bayern to lift their trophy. And then combined, we've got all the competitions here together, which is a really cool way to sort through these stats as well. In addition to player stats, we've got goalkeeper stats, where we've got all of that as well. Scores and fixtures with some really, really great match reports. Let's find a good match report. We'll stick with Bundesliga. Let's go to the 4-0 against Bayer Leverkusen. And you can see here we've got the XG right up top, 2.3 to 0.7. We've got the goal scorers, These are how the players lined up on the pitch. Got Paco up top, Marco at the 10. The match summary shows all of the events, where you've got the goal 28 minutes in from Paco, all the way down to the goal at the very end from Marco, assisted by Jakob Brun-Larsen. Some team stats here. We got the possession, where Peter Bosch's Leverkusen team had all that possession, but didn't really do too much with it. Passes, my gosh, they had all those passes too. This is very different for Dortmund. They're usually the team that has a lot more possession and a lot more passes. And we've got the player stats as well, which has the XG data in there and as well. So Paco had a goal, but he had 0.7 expected goals. Marco Reus scored 2 goals despite just 0.6 expected goals. And we've got Leverkusen's stats here as well. So that's a match report, but let's jump back to the team page. This is the new stuff that was added today. This stuff just blows my mind. We've got an entire shooting table now, not only for Bundesliga, but across all competitions as well. So what do we have here? So the 90s, this gives you a number of basically how many minutes they've played. They've essentially he's played 10.2 full matches worth of minutes. So it's just kind of another way to present total minutes. So consider this as like 10.2 matches worth of shooting data. Goals, of course, penalties, penalty attempted, shots total, shots on target, shots from free kicks, shots on target percentage. So this is how many of their shots were on target. So 13 out of 24 would be the 54.2. Shots total per 90 minutes and shots on target per 90 minutes. Got goals per shot and goals per shot on target to try to measure some efficiency there. And then you got your expected goal data. Expected goals, non-penalty per shot, goals minus expected goals, and the non-penalty goals minus expected goals. So what this does is it measures how many more or less goals they have than they would have been expected with the expected goals model. And then you can sort every column. So Marco Reus has 1.6 goals more than expected. Mahmoud Dahoud, Julian Brandt have nearly a goal less than expected. Now we got our passing data here. So we've got some assist data first, where we've got the total number of assists, expected assists, and then that difference again. Key passes, which are the passes that directly led to a shot. You can see Thorgan Hazard is leading Dortmund in that respect. Passes, so we've got total, we got short, we got medium and long. So a short pass here is fewer than 5 yards. So that's really short, and I'm seeing that the attempts that are that short, there's not very many, 238 the whole season compared to 5,236 medium passes. And what you'll notice too is that the conversion rate on those short passes is terrible. And I've been thinking a lot about why that is. And I think if you're going to pass 5 yards or less, it's probably because you're under pressure. And if you're making those passes in those tight zones, that's probably what's going to lead to the low completion rate. But you can see the total number of attempts. It is Manuel Akanji and then Hummels, so the 2 center backs basically up top. Then completion percentage, we got Axel Witsel, of course. He's the metronome in the middle there. Short passes, medium passes, long passes. Then we got left foot and right foot. I thought that Rafael Guerrero's difference was quite incredible. 384 left foot passes to 17 right foot passes. Then you got Hummels, who's the most two-footed player on the team, as you can see here. Passes attempted from free kicks. So this is different from the shots attempted from free kicks. So Hummels and Akanji, the center backs there, taking the passes off the free kicks. Through balls, we got Marco leading there. Corner kicks, throw-ins, the fullbacks, of course, taking most of those. Completed passes into the final third. So this is another thing that's coming from the 2 center backs as well as the central defensive midfielder here. And then completed passes into the 18-yard box. Jadon Sancho leading the way with that, though Brandt is right behind him. And Hazard as well. So that passing table is super cool. I love it. This was another one I'm very excited about, is playing time. You got your matches played, minutes, and then minutes per match. The minute percentage, so this is the percentage of the team's minutes that the player has played, just kind of another way of visualizing minutes. as is the 90s. So basically, Dahoud has played like exactly 2 matches worth of games. Of course, it's spread out over 3 games, though. So then starts and starts per minute. So Akanji has made 10 starts and he stayed in all of them. He made 1 sub appearance and he played 16 minutes in that sub appearance. So you can see who's made the most substitutions. So that's Brandt. He's averaging 28 minutes each time he comes in. Unsub is the games where they were listed as a substitute but were not used. And Dan Axel Zagadou is leading the way in that category. So the last batch here, this is team success. I'm really excited about these. I love these numbers. Points per match. So in the games that the player has appeared in, this is the aggregate number of points per match that the team has gotten. So when Hitz plays, they're winning. Schmelzer's only played 3 minutes, but Guerrero, for some reason, when the matches that he's getting into are the ones that the team is seeing the least success. Different way of measuring these are the goals scored while the player was on the pitch. So Akanji has the most of those, but Akanji also has the most goals allowed when he was on the pitch because he's basically been on the pitch all the time. This is a hockey style plus minus. So you can see that Akanji, Hummels, and Sancho all at +8. And Schmelzer, he was on for 3 minutes and they conceded in those 3 minutes. Kind of a bummer there. And then this is per 90 minutes. So you can see basically every match's worth of plus minus. So like Jadon Sancho, for every 90 minutes that he's playing, the team is scoring generally a goal more than they're surrendering. Jakob Brun-Larsen's an interesting case because he's been on the pitch technically for, 20 minutes, and Dortmund has scored 4 times in those minutes. Of course, those minutes don't include like stoppage time when he comes on at the end of a game, so that should be taken with a grain of salt. They're not really scoring 18 goals per match when Brun-Larsen's on the pitch. Small sample sizes now. The miscellaneous table is just kind of where we put everything else. So this is where you've got your cards, your red cards, the second yellow, fouls, number of times a foul was drawn, number of times offside, number of corners, this is crosses, number of tackles won, number of interceptions, and then any PKs won or conceded would be here. Unfortunately, got 3 own goals to show here. And then once again, we can show these across all competitions or look at just UEFA Champions League. And you can see, Mats Hummels has 16 interceptions in the Champions League. He's played 490s. Compare that, he's had fewer in the Bundesliga in 9.790s. So a lot of that, I'm sure, came down to his one match in Barcelona where he absolutely dominated. You know what? We can click on matches and see, is that the case? Is that where he got all of his interceptions in the Champions League? He had 7 interceptions alone against Barcelona, and then 5 against Slavia Prague. Then just 1 in that loss to Inter, but then 3 in that dramatic win against Inter. So these are the ways that we can drill down into the match logs to find individual things here. And then the player summary. I think this is a nice little summary of how many minutes and goals players on the squad have gotten in the different competitions. So this is Bundesliga, Champions League, the German Cup, German Super Cup, and then combined. And the same thing for goalkeepers. So let's look at a player. Let's go away from Dortmund for a moment. Let's go to a player you've probably heard of, Lionel Messi. So up at the top of the page, you can see his various honors he's gotten: the 5 Ballon d'Ors, 2 times FIFA Best Men's Player, 8 times La Liga, 4 times Champions League, all that stuff. His player stats, you can see here in this table that the metrics are still kind of in their infancy for football. So we're going to have a lot of blank areas for the years that we don't have the data. So like the expected goals data starts in 2017-18 for La Liga. And we only have match reports from 2014-15 on. But going forward, everything's going to be totally full, but just this is why you're going to see some empty cells here, because we're getting new data all the time. So taking a look at the shooting data here as well, you see that we have shots on target all the way back to the beginning of his career, but total shots we only have the last 4 seasons. Thought this was interesting. He's got some remarkable consistency with his passing, 78.7 in 2017-18, 78.6, 79.5. Look at that. It was like just a handful of passes difference in 27-18 and 2018-19. Look at this, like 140, 150 passes into the penalty area. He's just absolutely insane. Team success is really interesting to look at with Messi because his plus 90, this is like Bobby Orr type numbers back in his heyday with the Bruins. Plus 90 in 38 matches, 2.4 per 90 minutes. That's just absolutely insane. And his miscellaneous numbers here as well. Ah, goodness, what else can I show you? Let's see. Gosh, we could look at, like I said, there's all these, like an incredible number of competitions here. And we do have various varying amounts of data for each one. So you'll see, like if you go into the Austrian Bundesliga, we don't have the XG data in the league table here. Actually, that reminds me, I should go back to the German Bundesliga and show you this page because we do have the XG data in the league table. So you can look and sort by not only goal differential, but expected goal differential, or see who had the most expected goals. And you can see all of that. And plus there's the leaderboards. So you can see Lewandowski, of course, leading in goals. But you can see who's all the way down there. And not only that, but also in expected goals and non-penalty expected goals. Clean sheets, Bayer Leverkusen's Lukas Radecki is first place, which was probably surprising to a lot of people. This is really quite cool as well. The nationalities table. So this is the players who have played in the Bundesliga this season. What nationality they are. Of course, it's dominated by German, but Austria, France, Switzerland, Netherlands are the next best. And not only do we have that by number of players, but also minutes as well. This is all different ways to look at that. Actually, let's go back into Dortmund for a moment. We'll look at some of the sub-pages that we have on that Dortmund page. All right, here we go. So we've got player career details. What this is it's a snapshot of all the players on the roster of their most recent seasons before the current one, just to kind of show you where everybody on the roster came from. This is super helpful for looking at like the teams during the World Cup too, so you can kind of see like what clubs they're playing on and things like that. And not only that, but if you looked at this for past seasons, it would show the years afterwards too. So it would show where they went after this season with Dortmund as well. Then we can go into a little bit more detail on each of the competitions. And not only do you have so this is all of the regular player stats, scores and fixtures, all the data just for the Bundesliga. And then you can look at it here, all just for the Champions League, Pokal, Super Cup, etc. Let's go back to the Bundesliga page here because there's some really cool sub-pages here. Not only do you have the scores and fixtures for every single match in the Bundesliga, but you've also got player stats here. So you can go to that passing table and you can sort it for the entire league. So you've got the team stats here, so you can say, oh, who's made the fewest passes attempted in the entire league, and you can see that that's Augsburg. They have just a 69% completion rate. Who's got the most passes into the penalty area? That's of course Bayern Munich. And then you can look at it on the player level. So you can see that Nico Gieselmann has actually made the most passes into the penalty area in the entire Bundesliga. Most left and right-footed passes. So we got Wendell, and then we've got Benjamin Pavard. Most key passes, we've got Kimmich. Highest completion rate is Sven Bender. This hides the non-qualifiers. So anybody that hasn't played 45 minutes per squad match, and that's not like in 45 minutes in every match, but like an average of 45 minutes for every match is hidden. So if we uncheck that, we can see the players like Bayer here, who has made 10 passes and completed them all in his 45 minutes that he's played. Over here, let's go to that playing time table. So this is really fun, where you can go in and check out the plus minus for the whole league. And it's dominated by Leipzig players rather than Bayern players. So Klostermann leading the way. He's been on the pitch for 28 goals and 9 goals allowed. And if you go up here, you can see, let's find RB Leipzig. So they've scored 29 and allowed 12. So when he's not on the pitch, they've scored once but conceded 3 times. So he's looking pretty valuable, although, of course, that is a very, very small sample size. So what other competitions do we have? So there's the Champions League, where you can go in and look at all of the groups here, the combined table across all groups, and see the leaders here as well. And this will have player stats as well. So you can go in and go into the shooting data for the Champions League and find out who has the most non-penalty expected goals per shot in the Bundesliga. That would be, not Bundesliga, in the Champions League. That would be Sergio Roberto. Of course, he's had just one shot. So let's look down and see. Oh, Haaland, of course, has 0.26 per shot for his 11 shots, and he's just an absolute monster. 4.4 expected goals. He's scored 7 goals in the Champions League. He's absolutely insane. Can't wait to see who's going to throw piles of money on Salzburg's doorstep for him. And let's see, what else do we got? All right, I don't want to talk your ear off completely, so one last thing I'll show you is that we also have this advanced data for the English Women's Super League. I've been following Arsenal over there for some reason ever since the World Cup final, and their heavily Dutch influenced team. For whatever reason, I just started following Arsenal, and they have a lot of really fun players to watch, and we've got all of their expected goal data here as well. You can see that Miedema is leading the team in expected goals per 90 minutes. Overall, it's Miedema and Van de Donk. And you can go into the Women's Super League itself, into the shooting player stats, and see who across the entire league has the most XG. Yeah, let's go with non-penalty XG. You can see here a lot of the columns. We don't have a lot of this data for the Women's Super League, but we have XG and standard goals. So you can take a look at those. All right, I think I'm going to leave you for now. There's so much here. I feel like I could talk about this forever, but I'm going to stop there. And I hope you enjoy the site. If you have any questions about it, just hit me up on Twitter, Fußballtwits on Twitter, or leave me a comment here, whatever. All right, enjoy it. I'm super excited about it. Bye.